Hi, Damian.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Thanks for chatting with me. I wanted to talk to you about the topic that is on everyone's lips at the moment since the Facebook announcement recently around rebranding to Meta and the metaverse and what it means and how we're all going to be a part of it. And I just wondered if you could reflect on what that means to people in immersive technology.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's interesting actually because Facebook was the reason that I started Blend. Because in end of 2015, Mark Zuckerberg posted the first 360 video on Facebook. I think it was airplanes flying in formation, and it gave me the idea to start the business. And I sort of started wondering, do brands, are they interested in 360 video? Do they know how to make it? Do they know how to publish it? What does it cost? How do you find creators, etc.? So that was the reason where it all started for me, and started Blend as a 360 group of creators and stock footage library, and off it went from there. And 5-6 years later, obviously, we've expanded into all immersive tech and immersive media, both on the content creators and the solution side. So, talking about Facebook as a pioneer in the metaverse and the immersive space is something that sort of is in the DNA of Blend right from the very beginning. And obviously Facebook are a client of ours and a big client of ours, and we've worked with them for many years, both on 360 video and other things. So it's great to see them leading the way, and obviously a commitment to spend $5-6 billion a year on the metaverse is a major doubling down, as well as the rebranding of the company. So, being in the immersive space as a company, that's very reassuring for us as a business in working in bleeding edge technology. In terms of what it means for the world, obviously Facebook has 2.5 billion users, and most people are used to using it for social media as a networking tool. Others use it for business, but they've got a massive user base. So when they do something, they have a lot of influence, good or bad. I know there's a lot of controversy about social media companies and the control they have over news and media and the narrative and privacy. But that's a whole separate discussion. I think, when they do something with that number of users, it's bound to be significant and have an impact one way or another, especially because of the amount of investment they're making. So from a personal perspective, that's exciting. And from Blend's perspective, we're right at the heart of that. So it's exciting professionally too.
Facebook has just got that audience reach that means that this is going to start to seep into people's consciousness, start to get more familiar with what the metaverse brings and how everything is kind of joined together, that they're using every day right now anyway, but kind of didn't realize. And also, I suppose, on the flip side of that, a lot more jobs and opportunity for people with those immersive skills.
Yeah, well, I mean, we live and breathe XR, VR, AR, 3D every day, because it's what we do. And it still surprises me the amount of people who have never put on a VR headset. And for me, having worn one for years and years and using it both professionally and personally, it's impossible to explain or convey just how good it is and how effective it is. And particularly for meetings and social interaction. You and I are speaking on Zoom in a little box, and we're distracted by everything going on around us and behind the laptop and behind the camera. Whereas, when you're in a VR headset, you're in the same environment, and you can't put that into words. The sense of presence that you get with someone when you're in the same room, even if you're in a CG environment, or if you're looking at an avatar that clearly isn't a lifelike representation of the person that or a meeting. That sense of presence is it can't be replicated. and on the avatar front, we actually have a few avatar briefs from clients that those avatars are getting better and better, and the creation technology is getting better and better. And obviously Facebook themselves are investing in that. But the impact of being in VR is significant, and I think Facebook has done a great job over the last 10 plus years of connecting people. There's a certain demographic that gravitate towards Facebook and have been using it for years rather than Instagram and Snapchat and the other social platforms. But you can't argue with 2.5 billion people connected. So seeing them moving into a more immersive way of connecting people is significant. And if you're familiar with the movie Ready Player One, and before that the book, the whole idea of the oasis, or as Facebook calls it, the horizon, or horizon, it's sort of scary in one way, that we hope that we don't lose that personal, physical, in-person connection. But you could say about social media that it's helped, well, even on a personal level, help connect people all over the world who don't get to see each other all the time. So one can only hope that for good, the metaverse, in Facebook's eyes, or anyone else who's in that space, does more good than harm, and connects people in a more personal and interactive way.
Yeah, absolutely. Another element that came up in the news, I feel like I've got the right man in the hot seat today, is NFTs, and part of the metaverse mix, if you like. They're kind of a digital element. So again, something that you've got quite a track record with, right? From the days of Charlie Bit My Finger, which was an NFT that you created and also went on to successfully sell. So I was wondering, again, if you could kind of just talk us through what an NFT is, and why are we seeing it more in the headlines and them being created?
Yeah, I mean, you can't turn anywhere without hearing the acronym NFT these days. And there's obviously some people who have been looking into it for a long time, others who are, like any trends, sort of trying to jump on the bandwagon, and some will get it right, and some will be seen as sort of just creating a gimmick, or just trying to ride a wave. And NFTs, non-fungible tokens, I'm sure most people know what the acronym stands for. They're assets, for want of a better description, assets on the blockchain. So they can be a still image, a video, a 3D model. They can be a contract that comes with other purpose. With Charlie Bit My Finger, I have a history in viral video from my previous business, and we, with the family of Charlie Bit My Finger, put together a release of an NFT just to see how it would go, really, in May of this year. And it sold for over $250 million. Oh, sorry, $250,000. Almost $250 million. So $768,000. And that sort of took us by surprise, and took the family by surprise. But it's, I think, testament to how the art world is going, what people see as valuable, what people are willing to pay for something that's scarce. And I sort of hear with NFTs in particular, and I've been in cryptocurrency as an investor for about 8-9 years. NFTs I've taken an interest in for a couple of years since they started, but really this year, since the beginning of this year, just as an investor. And I've sort of heard the argument, well, I can see a video on YouTube, why would I pay $768,000 for it as an NFT? And it's sort of the same as saying, well, you can go and see the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, but you don't own it.
Yeah.
You can take a picture of it and you can buy a postcard of it, but you don't own the only blockchain based version of that asset. And I think it was Banksy who did an NFT of one of his paintings, and he sort of physically burnt the physical painting and turned it into an NFT, and therefore his way of creating scarcity and value was to do that. With Charlie Bit My Finger, the family felt like sort of their time with the video on YouTube had sort of run its course, and they would take the YouTube video down in spite of having 900 million views, and turn it into an NFT. And for that, someone paid that vast amount of money to own it. But NFTs can sort of, you know, run the gamut of just still images, videos, or, you know, something a bit more, because it's related to the blockchain. You can build anything into the smart contract that's tied to the NFT. So if you're an owner of the platinum version of an NFT issued by a brand or by by an event, you might get sort of more privileges if you can demonstrate that, showing your crypto wallet, your NFT wallet, that you own it, and you know, there'll be some kind of implications of that. Then you might get more benefits. And you know, there's a lot of music artists and sports organizations that are issuing NFTs that give you know, collectors and fans other things. NBA Top Shots is a big one. So the NBA basketball, they have been going for quite some time and issuing sort of video moments from matches, and you can collect them. And you know, people collect them, I think, for perceived increased value, but over time they'll attach other rights to them that you know, give more utility.
What you're talking about there is the difference between something like the Mona Lisa, which is an investment. So it's a physical investment. So it could be wine, houses, you know, art, whatever it might be that you want to invest in. And then over time, you know, that increases. Or what you're talking about is kind of almost what sounds like a customer loyalty scheme, you know, kind of like an added benefit. You're a gold card member, and NFTs working in that way.
That's exactly it. Customer loyalty, I think, is a great way to describe it, or membership club. You know, there's an NFT that group of NFTs called the Bored Ape Yacht Club, which is sort of these crazy looking apes, and you know, they've become very valuable. I think the lowest price one is probably about $100,000 now, and they are just, I say just, not to belittle it, but they're like a digital image of a certain ape, and various characteristics that give different rarities to those. But they are being used. There was an NFT event in New York last week, and if you were an owner of a Bored Ape or Bored Ape, you could go to a yacht party and get in for free, and you know, eat and drink as much as you like. And it's sort of loyalty scheme from a brand's perspective, but almost kind of private members club from that perspective as well. So talking about adding utility, I don't know if you know Gary Vaynerchuk. He's a sort of American entrepreneur. And
yes, I see him all the time on LinkedIn.
Yeah, and he's he's done a great job of growing his own agencies and his own businesses. And he released a set of NFTs earlier this year called V Friends, which sort of they're tied to his a new conference that he's releasing. And if you own certain types of NFT, you can, some of them at the higher level, get access to him and mentoring and sessions with him, and others. I think everyone who owns one gets access to the conference. And it's sort of, how do you build utility and value into NFTs with different levels? And you know, some NFT issuers are tying the digital to the physical, and brands are doing the same. I think ASICS, the shoe company, did an NFT where they matched if you own a digital NFT, you get access to shoes, or there was some kind of connection to physical real world assets. So they're being used in that way as well. But sort of looping back to Facebook and the metaverse, you know, if Facebook realize their dream and their goal that they're investing billions of dollars in, of everyone having a headset of one form or another and having an avatar and being able to sort of go into the metaverse, then you can see a whole host of use cases for NFTs. You know, if you have a home in the metaverse, people can come in and view the NFTs, you know, digitally on your wall. You know, others, shoe companies will issue NFTs of, you know, shoes that can be worn in the metaverse, kind of similar to, you know, online games like Fortnite, where you can, you know, you can buy V-Bucks and spend V-Bucks on you know, costumes for your avatars and all that
Apparel,
stuff. Yeah, it's very.
And there's also brand shops in there as well, so clothing stores that you can buy, brand like Nike, etc., that you can buy stuff for your avatar.
Yeah, so I do think that's where it will all head, especially with companies like Facebook and countless others. I mean, we've talked a lot about Facebook on this chat, but there's countless others who are investing, you know, heavily into the space, including the likes of, you know, Epic Games and Fortnite and, you know, others that have a vested interest. And obviously, you know, we keep, because we are in XR and we are in the metaverse as a business, we keep a close eye on all of that stuff with our clients in mind, and, you know, conscious that, as we've always been for the past 5+ years, client first, and wanting to make sure that any solutions that we offer are tailored to clients' needs. So it's important for us, as we do, to stay abreast of developments in the metaverse, NFTs, and everything else that's interrelated.
My final wrap-up question really is, you've obviously advised the family on creating the NFT for Charlie Bit My Finger and selling it. Is that something that Blend offers, that kind of consultancy around how, you know, how it's structured, what the one of one, you know, 1 of 30 looks like in terms of the batches, the physical accompaniments, the brand loyalty program? How much does Blend advise and help on that?
Yeah, well, so well, it's directly in our space, and a lot of the creators, you know, you see a lot of creators who, you know, create AR filters, which has been part of our offering to clients and our work with clients for quite some time now through Blend Market, our marketplace. Those same creators are creating digital art and issuing it as NFTs, and so there's sort of an overlap of shared expertise amongst our creator community. That's already there, and, you know, that's part of the benefit of what we've built as a global community of several thousand creators around the world who know AR, they know VR, they know 3D, and by dint of that, they know NFTs. And us as a business, as I say, you know, we spend a lot of time. We started as a 360 video stock footage business, and here we are today. We've built up the expertise and the community to advise on all things XR and all things metaverse. So whether it's you know, someone thinking of minting an NFT, you know, as a business, we know how to do that and can advise clients all the way through to, you know, how do you structure an NFT auction, and how do you build that auction site, and do you go on an open platform like OpenSea where the minting costs and the commissions are low, but you're sort of in amongst the masses of everyone who's minting an NFT, or do you sort of build out something more bespoke and specific? And there's partners out in the market who we worked with, Origin Protocol on the Charlie Bit My Finger auction, and they have a sort of a tool that they've created to build out an owned and operated NFT auction site, which is very good. So as a business, we make sure that we're up to date as best as we can be, but we stay up to date through a global community of experts, and that's how we stay up to date on, you know, the trends in AR and VR and 3D, and that's the value of the community and the power of the network.
Yeah. Great, well, enlightening as always. Thanks, Damian, for talking me through that, and be back when the next set of headlines and the next evolution in the metaverse and immersive technology comes up.
I look forward to buying your next NFT.
Thank you. You can sell it for me. How about that?
Nice to see you, Thea.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Bye.